right. How's everyone feeling? How's everybody feeling? Yeah. It's a final thing. You can get that energy up. Take out all the energy you've been storing and just throw it out right now. That'll work for me. All right, so where's the clicker? Let's see if this thing works. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a door, a closet door in my father's bedroom. And inside this closet was a dark, big object. It was heavy. It looked like a spaceship. By today's standard, it was an old, dusty artifact. It was a video camera. Remember these things, right? From decades ago. These things, you would shove these giant tapes in them, you close the door, you slam it shut, you throw it over your shoulder like a rocket launcher, right? But with these things, you had the power and the magic to create your own movies. Now, I thought this was the coolest thing in the world. For an excited 8-year-old like myself, I suddenly became Steven Spielberg. But instead of creating movies where sharks terrorized people on the beach, I was creating movies where zombies terrorized my neighbors and ate all their brains. My giant movie theater wasn't a giant movie theater, it was my living room. And instead of having an audience of millions of fans, I pretty much just had my parents. And I also enjoy being in front of the camera just as much as I enjoy being behind it as a director. As you'll notice from this potentially career-ending music video I found from when I was younger. That is me at age 8. Yeah, come on, clap. Give it up. Give it up for Joe, age 8. Before I made the comparison, I was like Steven Spielberg. With those dance moves, you'd think I was Justin Timberlake. Video cameras were always important to me growing up, and they were always present. You might call me nostalgic, but I really missed this rocket launcher camera. Even though it was 20 times heavier, 19 times bigger, 1 million times dumber than my current movie-making device, a smartphone, there was something really cool about using that. It was a unique and rare and special thing to be making movies back then. But it was also a little bit lonely, because anything I ever made never was able to get out of my living room. It's crazy. I'm going to be 30 years old this year, and I think about it every day, like any other 29-year-old would. But I represent that generation young enough to be raised in the digital world, right? But also old enough to remember being dependent on the analog world, like so many of us here remember. I spent years using this on my kitchen wall before I used this in my pocket. I remember using this very, very clearly. One time a day, before using this 200 times a day. I remember so clearly what it was like to talk to each other before, the simplicity and ease with which we can text with each other. Even if we are heading towards a world where we'll have cameras on our head, I feel that anyone like me in my generation will never fully get used to the fact that young kids today will never understand how cool it was to live in the analog one, and definitely not understand what it was like to be dependent on it. And there's nothing you can do to make yourself feel more old than to watch how digital kids are so confused by these old, dusty artifacts.
On dirait comme une décharge électrique. C'est un jeu vidéo. Ah oui, c'est un jeu. C'est pour faire des photos. C'est un CD. Ah oui, c'est comme ça.
This girl's my favorite right here. I don't know what she's doing with that phone. She has no idea what that thing is. And they're speaking French as a courtesy, me being here in Belgium. But it's not just the fact that devices have changed. The way that we tell our stories have changed so much. And the digital creation that has changed my life with pretty much everything I do, with how I spend my time, with how I do my work, is YouTube. But I'll get back to that in a second. Here we are now at the European Communication Summit. Let's give it up for the European Communication Summit. Yeah! That's the energy I'm looking for. All right. Now I'm from New York City. When I got invited to this, I was really excited because in life there are fewer things I love more than Europe and communicating. And the fact that there's a summit to bring these two to the highest point delights me a lot. I speak to you as a filmmaker, I speak to you as a storyteller, someone fascinated with how we're living in the most creative time on the planet. To me, effective communication is important. It's how companies prosper with their customers. It's how a government establishes a rapport with its citizens. It's the glue that keeps all of humanity together so that we can properly understand each other. And in the absence of effective communication, what is there? There's confusion, misinterpretations. There's definitely stereotypes. Stereotypes are funny. I'm in Belgium right now. But God forbid me as an American thinks that Belgium is only Belgian waffles and Jean-Claude Van Damme. And God forbid anyone from Europe here in this audience thinks that me as an American is a fan of Sarah Palin and obsessed with spelling bees. In today's world, there are so many tools that allows us to know each other on a deeper level, to break away from the superficiality, to break down cultural barriers also where we can identify with each other and learn from our stories. Now, my favorite is YouTube. But let's go back to 2005 when YouTube was invented. The very first video ever uploaded to YouTube
so here we are,
was the co-founder of YouTube looking at elephants in a zoo in San Diego, California. Now, when he uploaded this, it was pretty mundane. No one really cared because no one was using it. But little did he know or anyone else know that this entire site would blossom into one of the most creative places on the planet for uploading videos. Now, at first, it went through some growing pains. When people realized there was a site that you could have unlimited uploads, it was a free-for-all. And that's why the site gained a dubious reputation at first for being loaded with cats and dogs and pets. You're more likely to find a video like this of a dog waking up from a horrible nap. Oh, what's going to happen? There we go. That's how the dog wakes up. More likely to find videos like that. But then as the site grew and more artistic types and storytellers joined, we started noticing something really beautiful. We started noticing bands uploading really cool music videos of themselves. Like OK Go here. Well, actually, I was going to say that people like the following have an idea, a talent, and a story. A lot more exciting than pets. This guy took a photo of himself for years and years and then uploaded a video of it as a montage. And then there were movie reenactments with toys, like The Matrix. So you're looking at the old, like if this was a tree and you cut open a tree, you're looking at the early rings of YouTube. And for anyone who looks at YouTube now, if people in the audience do or people in the audience don't, it's important to understand that this really is probably the most creative place on the planet for people to create videos and tell a story. People right now don't need Hollywood to be entertained, and they don't need Hollywood to create entertaining material. Amateur filmmakers right now are getting advertising revenue. They're getting funded channels. They're getting paid to do what they love to do. And try to come across one person that hasn't heard of YouTube today. That's because 1 billion people are looking at least one video every month. There are 70 minutes of video uploaded every single second. The human achievement to create an infrastructure to do that is overwhelming. And since billions of more people around the planet will very soon have two things: one, a smartphone, and two, a fast internet connection, everyone has the potential to be their own Steven Spielbergs with laptops as their living rooms and adoring fans as strangers all around the world who probably don't even speak the same language as you. And most of them probably, definitely, absolutely won't have these old dusty artifacts called televisions in their living room. But YouTube is even more than this. And in the spirit of why we're here, I'd like to give 3 examples of how YouTube has changed global communication. Now, this isn't an ad for YouTube. I don't work for YouTube. I'm just a guy who sits on a couch and watches a lot of video and asks a lot of questions about what it means for creativity. So there's a little bit of a caveat right there. The first example of how YouTube changes global communication is shared conversation. In December of 2011 in the States, there was a video uploaded to YouTube called Shit Girls Say. And it was a really funny video and it's very popular, and I wanted to show you a clip of it.
Do you know anything about computers? What's wrong with my computer?
Hey, Are you near a computer? Can you read this and see if it makes sense? Can you look something up for me? Could you do me a huge favor? Could you do me a huge favor? Could you not do that, please? Could you pass me that blanket? Could you turn it up a bit? Sorry, can you just turn it down a little bit? Oh, I had such a good sleep. I had to get up at like 6 this morning. Reach in my bag. Go to my purse. Did I lock the door? Yes. What's my password?
When this video was uploaded, it was a hit. It got so many views, so many people were talking, but it wasn't like any other video on YouTube that was a hit. The thing about this video what happened that pretty much no one else on the planet could ever predict was that people started taking this concept of shit something says or someone says, and they began expressing themselves with how they felt about certain things. There were versions based on location, like shit New Yorkers say. This is a great example of shit New Yorkers say.
Oh, I love it here. I hate it here. I hate it here.
I love it here. Ah, I hate it here.
Oh, San Francisco, I love it.
Oh, I hate LA.
This place is huge.
This place is huge.
That is what everyone in New York says. They walk into a tiny closet of a room and they say, this place is huge. Can we raise the volume a little bit? Sorry, I just want to make sure everyone in the back can hear that. All right, there were also imitations based on social class, like shit rich people say.
There was a recession? Yes, I own that. Ooh, is this vintage?
Vintage.
50 years old.
I'll just take the most expensive thing on the menu.
Huh, it's only $1,000.
And there were versions based on cultural perception, like shit Americans say to British people.
Oh my God, you guys drive on the left? Do people get in accidents all the time over there? They must. Driving on the left is like insane.
That's how we talk in America. We just are blown away that people can drive on the left side of the road. People took their own ideas and they ran with it. In total, thousands of these videos were made from all over the world. Most of them weren't even in English. And it was a trend for a while, and it proves how all it takes is just one sensational idea, that one big thing to form a powerful conversation that people can rally around, and not just rally, but feel empowered to create their own expression of identity. An expression that says, this is who I am, and this is my point of view. Remember this guy. Oh, Bangan, hey, sexy lady. This is a perfect example. It's a big example, because after he uploaded this video, it was no longer about Gangnam, an area in Seoul, South Korea. It became about Ghana style. It became about Uganda style, Argentina style, Vietnam style. It's a global style. The world owns this conversation now. No one else. The entire world, every single one of us. And all it takes is one canvas to get out there where everyone can start painting themselves onto it. So that's shared conversation. The second is shared knowledge. Not too long ago, I set out to solve one of these things. We're in Europe. I can say it's actually created in Hungary. A Rubik's Cube. And after some practice, I finally did it. There you go. And I recorded myself to the theme song of Perfect Strangers doing it. I'll be completely honest with you. I was able to do it because I had a little help from this guy. His name is Dan Brown, and he made a tutorial on YouTube which shows you step by step how to solve this thing. And I'll be even more honest, because having a tutorial is a little bit easy for you, because I don't think
the algorithm to get it from here up to here
Do you understand
is this. Right inverted, down inverted, right, down. That same one that I showed you in the algorithm demonstration.
So you got that, right? It's good to have a tutorial because you understand exactly what he said right there, right? 26 million views of this video. That means 26 million people around the world were trying to learn how to solve it, and they chose Mr. Dan Brown to teach them. Now, should we consider this video cheating? I don't think so, because there are this many positions that a Rubik's Cube can have. If every single one of these positions was a star in the universe, that would be 108 million galaxies worth of positions that a Rubik's Cube can have. So if you don't want to lose your mind and go crazy, then you'll probably need a little help to solve it. In the past, I'd have to get a book to do that. But this is one of the worst things in the world. Because do you know how hard it is to solve a Rubik's Cube by looking at 70 pages of charts and diagrams? I might as well build a Hadron Collider. So that's why Dan Brown is great. He teaches you how to solve it in just 15 minutes. Visually, it's more intuitive. You can see him holding it. You can see how he's turning it. He's also enthusiastic, and he feels like he's a coach, cheering you on as you're reaching your finish line. Dan represents a whole generation of people on the internet spending their own time to help other people learn something for little to no money and just pure passion. Virtually anything you can think of in your heads right now, you can learn from watching YouTube videos. You can learn how to wear makeup, how to use Photoshop. You can learn how to cook. You can learn how to speak any language in the world. If you want to play piano, do it. If you want to learn how to play guitar, go for it. If you're a fan of Australia, then you can learn how to play a didgeridoo. I don't care. Why ever pay for a lesson when you can have nice human beings teach you and most likely do a better job at it than any other platform? And it's not just hobbies. This channel is one of the most popular science channels on YouTube. Michael Stevens from Vsauce. He'll teach you what happens when the sun disappears immediately. There's also channels like CPG Grey, which will tell you why the country of the Gambia is inside of Senegal. This guy created something called Khan Academy, which is basically giving you lessons in class without you even having to go to class because it's all on YouTube. In year 300 BC, the Library of Alexandria represented every single source and every single bit of human knowledge known at that time inside one building. But the only way you can get access to the information is, number one, if you were in Egypt, and number two, if you were the 0.01% of literate people who can read anything in there. We've gone from that to 2,300 years later, where with the click of a mouse, you can watch 25 different ways to tie a scarf. And that is pretty special. Wait, do you want to watch all 25? That's 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are all the different ways to do it. The people-powered knowledge revolution is upon us, and people you don't even know are inspiring you and willing to sacrifice their time so that we can all be more well-rounded, intelligent people. The third and final way that YouTube is changing the face of global communication is one where I couldn't leave the stage without mentioning Russia. Who here is from Russia? I know this is more focused on Western Europe. There we go. The lights are up. All right. Здравствуйте. Thank you. All right. Well, the cool thing about your country when it comes to internet videos is there's a phenomenon going on right now where everyone who's driving a vehicle there films everything from their dashboard. Everything. 100% of people who have a car do that. And obviously, the people who upload it to YouTube aren't just uploading them driving. They're doing it for obvious, unusual reasons. Like, you might notice a lot of car crashes. Reaction is so priceless. Look at him. He's so confused. And you're on YouTube now. You'll even notice meteors flying through the sky sometimes. But for many people, one would be more likely to see a meteor in the sky than what was revealed in the following video. Dozens and dozens of people getting out of their cars and helping people, all captured on video. Experiences like that are real events that happen to real people. And through the videos uploaded, the people that choose to upload these videos, we are placing ourselves right then and there, reliving that moment. Videos like this make us want to be better people. We were there when Egypt was fighting for its freedom in Tahrir Square, and we feel inspired when major human achievements like this are accomplished. When we think of communication, we so often think of how words symbolize certain meanings for us. How we phrase things, how we choose to get the right words out to say what we mean when we feel something. The power of video means that sometimes no words are needed. By seeing experiences through the eyes of people all around the world, we feel new things, we learn new things, we understand human potential in new ways. And this informs how we think of our relationships with every single person around the world. Okay, so I just showed you 3 of my favorite examples of how internet videos on YouTube are changing the face of stories and how we communicate. I was only supposed to talk for 15 minutes. This might be a little bit more. But as the summit comes to an end, I like to ask every single person here to walk away with a couple thoughts. What conversations will you join? What will you teach? And what will you document through your eyes? And even if the 8-year-old inside you wants to create your own zombie movie where you're eating your neighbor's brains, whatever it is you do, we can all do it knowing the entire world is watching with us. And that is something to celebrate. Thank you.